Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of How the Hell Is This My Life? I'm your host, Kiki Carroll.
And I'm your host, Asha Brown.
And guys, we're not going to freak out. We're not going to freak out, okay? But we're in like the final countdown. This is the end of the game. This is it, okay? This is it. I have 27 days until my wedding. How many do you have for you?
That child, I don't know. I got days. I got.
But you're under the 60-day mark. You're under two months.
I'm under the 60-day mark, under 2 months. I am purposefully trying to stay away from the actual number count because it's like I feel somewhere between a crazy person and someone who is perfectly well planned and prepared. Like I am all over the place in the middle of those extremes. So I'm just like, 2 months.
I don't know. Hopefully you'll
It's
get
a month and a half, technically.
hopefully you'll get to this point. Like I just feel euphoric. I'm just like I'm under 30 and like I'm at the point in my checklist where there really isn't like it's just like final payments. Yeah, but that's stressful, but it's just like, okay, here's the money. Like the decision part and like the email part and like the double checking part, like that's done. So now it's just the final payments type deal.
I don't think that's in my DNA. So there's that. I don't think it's ever been in my DNA to like get to that point until the day of. Any party I plan, anything I do, I am super attention to detail and a major planner, but everything has a plan. I just still there's no like I'm still going to have anxiety until June 12th.
I see that for you. I'm hoping
Yeah.
not, but I see that for you. I feel like I'm really good right now. I know I'm gonna be like a chicken with its head cut off the week of like that week of like the 17th of May to like the 21st. Like don't ask me, don't ask to talk to me. I won't know what from what. I won't know what's going on. I'll probably be making up 50 million things I forgot to do that I didn't really forget to do. But right now I'm just okay. We're getting married. I feel sentimental and I'm like every day I try not to get emotional and I'm like, no, it's adulting. We're getting married. It's real life commitment. Whoa. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
I cannot. Well, before we talk about the future, we do have to go back and give it its due diligence. The past. We just had a really big thing happen in your wedding life.
So, which is if you were wondering like where the heck did they go? Last week's episode did not happen. We were recovering because we got back the day that we normally record this podcast was the day that we all got back into New York City. Some later than others, but we went to the Dominican Republic. Punta Cana's favorite of mine, and the majority of the bridal party, we were missing a few, but we mixed in some really, really close friends. And so it was a nice group of us that went to Punta Cana to an all-inclusive resort. And I mean, traveling amidst this new like COVID era is interesting, but it did not taint the trip for me at all. Like I had the best time. And I didn't realize how much I missed traveling and how much I missed like beaches and like just little getaways until we were there. I was like, oh, I've been jonesing. Like it literally was the best thing. Like there wasn't you had like this amazing plan and like itinerary and we played these fun games and it was so much fun to do. And then the hotel kind of had like not everything open when we thought it was going to be open because it's just COVID right now. Nothing is like 100% available like it normally is. But it was just like, even when like a curveball was thrown, it was like, oh, we'll do this. Oh, that worked out just great now, didn't it? It was like not one thing with the trip did I have any complaints with. It was so nice. I missed it so much. It was so nice. Oh, fun fact, celebrity sighting. I always forget about this.
Oh yeah, I
I always
forgot.
forget about this. But on our first full day, we pretty much just spent most of our time drinking by the pool, and we did end up going into the ocean at one point. And I remember like there was a group of guys that were playing beach volleyball and tried to get us to play, and we just were trying to go into the ocean like we're on a mission. We're not trying to play volleyball with y'all. But after the fact, one of our friends started talking to one of the guys playing volleyball, and was she was actually cracking jokes, which I think is hilarious. She was cracking jokes, and she's like, "Who's that mini Chance the Rapper over there? Like over there trying to like, is he trying to get like girls? Is he trying to run game? Like he's walking around like he's like a little mini Chance the Rapper?" And he didn't really know what to say. She was making these comments, and he was like, I don't know what you're talking about." And he was like, "You just want to play beach volleyball?" We're like, "Sure." So we go over to play, and then I just remember catching her eye because there was this very large black man came out like he did not want to be on the beach, came out, and I was like, "What is he? Who is this?" And then from behind him comes Chance the Rapper, and we're like, "Oh, okay,
Hmm.
yeah." So I know that she felt really bad afterwards about it. But I mean, he was nice. We played a couple rounds. I lost a fingernail to a really good save of the volleyball. I did it for the game.
But it's a great
Uh,
reason. It was a great reason. You can now tell that story. I
I
broke
can now
down.
say I lost a
Like,
fingernail
right.
catching
When people do the
volleyball.
whole like two truths and a lie game, you
Yeah,
can one of your truths can be I broke a nail playing volleyball with Chance the
Chance the
Rapper
Rapper.
and his crew.
That will be in my storage for the rest of my life now, and nobody will believe me. And I don't know about you, I'm not one of those people that like when you see a celebrity, I don't really fan out like that. I think the only time I've ever asked to take a photo with a celebrity was Aaron Tevitt for you. Like that's the only time I've ever like if I see somebody, like I have like an internal like but I don't actually like say anything or I try really hard not to act awkward around them. So I have no proof. I have no proof
Right.
except my friends who are witnesses.
Well, I remember that by the time that all happened, I was like, I am absolutely too tired. Like I laid down, I just wanted to go to sleep. And even when he took y'all, like when the guys that came over took y'all to go play volleyball, and he's like, you know what, like you guys come, and I was like, no. I will be the onlooker. I will watch slash nap while you guys do that.
You were having a very Alexis moment, and like I'm not even sure you said no. Like the facial
I
expression
don't
was
think I
there,
did.
but nothing came out.
I don't think I did either. I was just like, mm, I don't, I don't think so. You're that's cute, but thanks.
Just like I'm too tired for Chance Forever. I'm
Like,
too
yeah,
tired.
I was like, I will just sit over here and watch. So,
It was like it was literally though like I can't thank you and everybody else who came enough because it was the best trip, and like I'm not good at keeping secrets. I don't what stays here, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas or whatever. Listen, John came home and told me everything that happened in Vegas. So that's just not our relationship. We have absolutely no secrets from each other. Even the stuff that like why would I tell you this? We just do. But when I it's so nice to like relive the moments. We made so many memories when we were there, and we had so many like fun stories to recall, and just like Naisha's hair whip will live forever rent free in my mind for the rest of my life, like those kinds of things. Like I
DJ in the DR, there was a whole Instagram page created for this trip from by one of our friends. Yeah, there was
it's
people getting
just
locked on balconies. That was also
it was
hilarious.
so fun, and like that I love more. Like you can buy me gifts, you can buy me trinkets, like all of that kind of stuff is sweet, and I love it. But I would always hands down rather go with people that I love to some place that I either love or I've never been, and just make memories and experience that together and have fun and have like those photos and those memories like for years to come. Hands down will always take precedent over like a gift that anybody could ever get me. Like that's the best for me. So like it was so much fun. And like when we came back, it was slightly depressing because I'm pretty sure it was raining and it was cold.
Oh my
But
gosh.
it was like we came back and right to work on yours. Like so we got more to look forward to because yours is coming up.
Mine will be a little different. There will be a lot less photos because hopefully we won't be allowed to take photos because it's gonna be ratchet. It's gonna be ratchet. So
There's definitely one place. Well, there's like two places that you are not allowed to have like your phone
100%,
on.
which is I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
Not because I don't want there to be phones or photos, but mostly just because I'm like, that is how you signify that this is it's real. I've always dreamed of just the most absolute ratchet and raunchy bachelorette party ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, don't get me wrong, I am a travelaholic, but I'm like, listen, I live in New York City and I'm about to be like live up New York City as much as we possibly can during COVID, but here we are. Yeah. So I'm excited, but I'm very glad that you enjoyed yourself and that we had a very great trip. It was a very, very great trip and very sobering to come home because not only did we come home to the cold rain, but my flight was delayed basically the whole day. So I sat there in the airport twiddling my thumbs and eating Cinnabon.
I just remember like I was completely asleep when you got home. And I just remember like in the middle of the night, like you got to pee in the middle of the night. And I rolled over and I was like, oh, to the text message saying, I'm home. And I was like, oh, okay. Like a whole like 6-7 hours later. Like, okay,
right. 6-7 hours later, a flight and a cab ride home because that was necessary in that weather. It was trash, but I feel like it was like I love to travel, and so it was like scratched like a little itch where I'm like, oh, I can't wait till my next trip, and it's like the next trip is honeymoon. Like we're honeymoon planning. Like what? We're going on honeymoons.
I
know. It's like slightly freaking me out, but also at the same time, I'm so excited.
I don't know. I'm like, I feel more at ease now having traveled amidst like COVID, now and seeing how some of these resorts are handling like the restrictions and whatnot actually makes me feel more excited to go because I checked after we got back for our resort for our honeymoon in Costa Rica, and they had a kind of recently, like in the beginning of February, started to adopt the same practice as what they're doing in the Dominican, which not everybody was doing. A lot of places were saying you have to pay for your own travel insurance. It's on you to find a place to, get tested for your flights and whatnot. So I thought that went fairly smooth beyond having like a little bit of an extra long check-in, like setting all that stuff up. Beyond that, like to not have to worry about that was so nice. And so I just found out that our resort is doing the same thing. And so then it's kind of like, okay, I have to stay an extra 10 days. Oh, okay. Have you guys like, are you just in the beginning of your planning process or?
So the thing about planning a honeymoon in COVID or planning anything in COVID is that there's only so much planning you can do before you can pull triggers on stuff. So it's like, we could plan all day long and like, I know exactly where we want to stay. I know all of the information, but we can't book if the US was not allowed. And so up until like literally this week, like we've been watching, like we have plan A and plan B, but like plan A, fortunately, is looking like it's going to be possible. So that is really exciting. So it's like now we can start to like
Right.
book type of thing. But yeah, I'm literally like, I'm like, am I actually excited for my wedding, or am I just excited for my honeymoon?
But it's
Listen,
different though, right? Because like when I think of the wedding, I know that like when the day comes, all this stressful work, all that, like that's not what I'll be thinking about. I'll be thinking about him and like what we're about to do, and it'll be amazing. When I think about the honeymoon, none of that like stress part of the planning like is attached to that. None of that like there's 50 million things that we have to do for that is attached to the honeymoon. It's like the
right,
after. It's like, okay, this is when we're in our afterglow. Like we made it, we did it,
right.
like you know,
And for me, there
well,
is a for me, it's more than just a trip, child. It's things that's been
it's
being
a
waited.
journey, girl.
It's stuff that's been being waited on for a very long time. So
Michael's gonna
the
take you on a
honeymoon
journey.
is very important. So I'm just like, listen, we can speed through this wedding. Y'all can speed. I'm be like, excuse me,
You'll
sir.
be like, you'll be like Dorothy. You'll be like Dorothy. Like he doesn't even finish his. I do.
Right, right. Yeah, just speed this along, please. Thanks.
Mhm.
I have a plane to catch. Thanks.
Look, you guys have fun. Eat the chicken. Bye.
Eat the chicken.
I
Yeah.
know there's about to be jerk chicken. I know there's about to be jerk chicken. So eat the chicken. We're gonna go. I already know.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm also like, so you're the bridesmaid's dress, the illustrious begonia. I reached when I reached out to them because they didn't I didn't get a text message and I was feeling some kind of way because all of the other bridesmaids seemed to be getting their dresses early and I wasn't hearing anything. So I called them and I was like, "Hi. So everybody else has theirs and I'm just wondering where mine is." And I apparently fell through the cracks. However, they did have it, and so I think that they felt a little guilty about not communicating to me. So they just like shipped it to me. So it's supposed to come
Oh,
either tomorrow or Wednesday.
that's nice.
And I will have her.
Yes, yes, yes.
Which is like 3 weeks early, I feel like.
Oh yeah, it's all
And your dress
everyone's
is
dress is
early too.
early because everyone's dress is early because I'm pretty sure it said May,
Yeah,
and
like the like
everyone got notified it was here earlier than May. So that's, I mean, that's good. But my wedding dress too, so which I'm very excited about. This fitting process. Put me in the dress, please. As many times as I can wear it, I'm happy.
I love that. I'm so excited to see you in it and then see it start to take life because I mean, we try these dresses on and we love them, but we know there's going to have to be some sort of alterations because no dress is made perfectly for one person's body. So like you're going to have some tweaks made to it here and there. And so you see that in your head and it's just the coolest thing to like see like a seamstress start to make it match what's in your head. And I just know you have such like your vision for your dress, they not ready. So I'm super excited to start to watch them like curate that on you. I'll be
Especially
ready.
after seeing yours come to life.
All the angles,
It's
I'll be
been a
ready.
it's been a great journey watching yours come to life. It's like, yes, that. Oh, yes, that. Oh, what she did there, that. Yes, lady.
I just think that we're both fortunate too, and the fact that like I feel very confident that our seamstresses know what they're doing to the point where like you shouldn't really be on like, okay, this is a major change that you wouldn't know that I want, or this is a choice that you have to ask me because there's multiple options. Like
Right.
I feel like when you have a good seamstress, they just do it. Like they're like, they look at your body, they see it on, you're like, oh yeah, we need to pull this in here, we need to lift this up here. And
Right.
I just feel like some people maybe don't have that experience. I read Yelp, I read reviews. There are bad seamstresses out there, and I'm confident that neither one of us has that. And like, it's just, it's, I can't, there's no other word for it.
Mine
It's just,
sounds better because I
it,
paid them dual hairs. Dual hairs? Okay, dual hairs. So I'm gonna need them to deliver.
I feel like they're gonna give you the princess experience when we go in there. I'm just happy to be sitting there watching. I'm so excited because it's so surreal to like be in your dress and like watching it essentially come to life is the coolest thing.
Right.
And I too, like, you'll get that off of me because I got to see your eyes bugging and my eyes was bugging, and I was like, you see what
Right.
I see? Okay,
Right. It's
this is
like
happening.
it's like, you already love it, and then it's like, what can make it even better? It fit in just
It
right.
fits.
That's what can make it better. That's what does it. Is it fitting you like yes, and that's the only word that can be said in that moment. And it makes it so hard to not share it with the world. Well, one, it is extremely hard to not share it with your partner in life. I'm just like, and he's like dying to see it. But also, like, we're both content creators. And I think that when you're like, it's such a big part of everything. It's like, I really want to share this with the world and with everybody, but no, it's
It's like
so
a
hard.
can that you can't open. And
Yeah.
like I haven't posted anything about like going to fittings even because I'm like I just what if I
What if
recorded
I
too
go too
long?
far?
Yeah. Yeah. What if I go too far?
Mirror you in my camera.
Like that's my nightmare, right? Is to accidentally post my wedding dress.
Oh my
I would be mortified.
my gosh, that's so funny because there's been times where like I'm going to post and like when all your photos are there, and sometimes I'm like, what if I just like accidentally click the wrong photo and then like hit share? That would be mortifying.
And the internet's so quick that it's like you would
Right.
think, oh no, I got it down. Nobody saw it. And there'd be like 1,000 people that had seen it and somebody saved it.
Right. That'll be the one thing that everybody did see. That'd be the one time Instagram did push all of your content to people.
Yeah.
People, speaking of content, okay, our handles are here on the screen, okay, but we just wanted to give a like quick little PSA about supporting your content creator friends, okay. It is its own, neither of us, and I'm sure I speak for many people, some people, social media content creating is their full-time job. There are some people who that's literally life. Some of us are working full-time jobs
Yeah.
while also creating content on multiple social media streams. So, and I think that people who are not creating content, who don't really like, they're just, they consume content, but they're not necessarily creating content,
Right.
don't understand that like the algorithm is literally everything. And sometimes it's actually really hard and discouraging to spend basically part-time hours out here, y'all, creating content, and then like getting minimal support because it's not being shown to people.
Right.
And so I encourage you, if you like any content creators, if you follow anybody, or if you have a friend who's a content creator, you don't even listen, hey, hello, you don't even have to like their content, okay? If you call them a friend and
Just show support.
you like them, just support.
Yeah, just show
You don't
support.
have to necessarily like actually like love that thing in your heart, but like show support.
Yeah.
Like,
My I hate it when people say, "Well, I'm never like on. I just don't go on to like Instagram or social media or whatever." I'm like, that's not true.
right.
90% of people are scrollers by day and scrollers by night. So that's not true. It's just you are a mindless scroller. But if you're trying to support someone,
Right.
put a little effort and click a button. You know, also because it can get discouraging where like one day you'll do something that you don't even think is your best
Right.
content and it gets 7,000 views or
Right.
70,000 views. And then one thing that you worked really, really hard on,
Right.
you know, and when you're starting out, like you need the views, you need to be the exposure because you can't just post something and have 200 people like it within the first 5 minutes. You don't have enough followers for that. Um, and I think that both of us have had plenty of people come into contact with us in our life that have mentioned either something about our style or our outlook on life or our talents and our skills. And like, why don't you have a YouTube page? Why don't you do a podcast? Why don't you ever like post any of your outfits? Well, bam, we listened
And
and we are doing it.
also, don't get me started on the people who tell you all of the time, "Oh my gosh, like if you just posted this stuff, you would be famous. If you just did this, you would be famous. If you
That's
just
not how it works.
like if you just put yourself out there, you would totally be famous." However, those same people, I'm watching and waiting for your support on my content that you told me that I should be doing. And now I am spending lots of time, like the free time that I actually could be laying down with my feet up to create inspirational content that has a purpose behind it that my passion in life is to spread energy and bring life to others. And so if I can do that from bringing you energy in a video, bringing you laughter in some comedy, like I'm gonna do that. And so there's purpose behind what people are creating. And a lot of people who have even encouraged me to do it, I'm like, but where y'all at though?
My favorite, my absolute favorite is first off, you know that Instagram gives you that high that Facebook never did. And I can see who sees my stuff. I can see who watches my stories. I can see like predominantly I see who comments and who tends to pay attention to my page and all of that. So my favorite is when you watch all of my stories and you don't answer anything, you don't click anything, all of that. To me, that feels a little haterish.
It
It
feels like
feels a little shade like you're watching all of this, which means you see the attempt,
right,
yet you don't support. So why are you watching?
right. They're
Why
not
are you watching? You know?
right,
And I know this to be true because there have been times where I've caught myself being like, I'm just scrolling through and I'm like, wait, no, there was like an engagement thing. Let me go back and like do
right.
that because this person is putting this on here because they're obviously trying to engage. They're trying to start conversation. They're trying to get to know who their followers are. Um, and I
And
mean,
I don't think people understand the like how hard like how hard it is to gain followers on Instagram.
mhm,
Instagram is definitely the more difficult social media platform because Instagram is like when it comes, for example, like reels, like it's quite literally whatever, wherever they want to send your content to. And I feel like Instagram is a lot more of it is well, TikTok is definitely coming up, but Instagram has more often been considered where people are running their businesses. And so there's business Instagram accounts and things like that. And I think that because of all of those implications, the Instagram algorithm is almost built for like things that you would do like if you saw a business accounts like merch or something like that, like the clicking and all that stuff that you would do, it almost treats it the same, even if you're a content creator that's not necessarily selling something.
right.
And so that's like the whole fact that the algorithm has actually gone more towards like sending, like the first thing, like sending or sharing content is makes it harder for people who are doing fashion blogging and things like that, or comedy or any of those things, because
Right.
you might laugh at something, or you might think something's funny, or you might like that thing, or even comment on that thing. But why, like, you're not always going to send it to someone or
Right.
like save it to your phone on
Right.
Instagram. So it's interesting to me that that's how they change the algorithm. But listen, we all just out here on this uphill battle. Okay. We all just,
And I mean, none of that negates the fact that whether you support us or not, we still about to be out here doing it because I
right.
do enjoy it. I do enjoy it, and a part of me is doing this for me. I like to get dressed up and take a photo of it. I constantly look back and be and just am like, why did I not capture that? Because that was bomb, and it made me feel good. And I like to share because I feel like sometimes people can be inspired that you wouldn't even know. I feel like we both learned that um, in some of these like kind of like not challenges, but special themes that we do randomly, like when we were doing our Black History Month, like different little things that we're doing for a couple days here and there. You'd be surprised who is actually looking and who finds inspiration in that. So I'm gonna keep doing it, whether I get 10 likes or I get 150,000. I don't care. But it's just to say that if you if you call yourself a friend, if you catch yourself being one of those people who has said, like you could blow up if you were putting yourself out there more. When you see somebody putting themselves out there more, then support that. And if you don't support that, then stop watching me. It's great.
The face though. Stop watching me.
I
That
don't
was so
understand.
funny. Stop watching me. Oh my gosh. Oh man. But I will say that if anybody shows up to my wedding not serving the looks that I saw on the Oscar red carpet, okay, I don't want it. I don't want it. If you show up and you don't look like one of the people who were at the Oscars, leave.
When we say formal on our invitations, what we mean is Oscar's red carpet.
What we mean is Zendaya. What we mean is her. Okay.
Uh, Regina King, long live the king. Can't nobody take down the king. Regina King,
journey.
Leslie Odom Jr.
The
looked
gold.
like a human
Listen.
actor.
Right.
Like he was like, I give it to me. Look.
I just feel like I kind of wish I thought to actually theme my wedding based
Uh,
off of the Oscars. It is a missed opportunity that I will forever regret that I did not make the theme a night at the Oscars.
well, you're hearing it now. Anybody who is coming to Asha's wedding, aim for the Oscars.
I mean, you can't come to a wedding at the palace looking like you're going to a bar, like, or going to, I don't even freaking know, the club, because people seem to think, some people's formal, some people's
Yeah,
formal is club dress.
yeah. I've had a
That's
few
incorrect.
questions. I've had a few questions, and I think that a lot of people just want to be like super clear on it. But I did feel to be helpful when I was on my website to add like when I say formal, I mean below the knee or to the ground for dresses. When I'm talking to a man, you do not wear sneakers, denim. You can come in a three-piece denim suit. You're not coming in.
Right.
No jeans.
Exit to the left.
Means
Maybe you can
formal.
stream it from the parking lot.
Well, I just feel like people don't get dressed up anymore. And I miss that. Like, people used to get dressed up to go to a Broadway show, or used to get dressed up just to go to listen to live music and
I
have
was going to say,
dinner.
people used to get dressed up just to go to the bar in New York.
Like it was a whole event. And I think that's why I love like these award show red carpets so much because it gives you some of that old Hollywood glamour feel. Like, they got a lot of things wrong back in the day, you know? But one thing that they did do was they got dressed. They got dressed and they made occasions grander by like just showing up. You know what? I want to wear a floor length velvet dress and a stole. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm
Right.
gonna do
I
just to go
just
to dinner.
really wish that that was our reality still. I really wish that was the
You know,
case.
well, it will be. It will be for our weddings. Like I just, and also I love to see my friends are beautiful. My friends and family are beautiful, and I love to see them all dressed up and glamorous. Like because life gets busy. We've been in a panini and we've been wearing sweats. We've been wearing leggings for 2 years. Okay, like we can get dressed up for one night. We won't remember it anyways.
This is true. This is very true.
It was so good. And I don't remember the actor's name. I probably would butcher it anyways. But he wore an entire pink three-piece suit and he looked fabulous.
Yeah.
He looked like I love when overtly masculine men wear like a bright color.
Mm.
Like I can pull this off. I can pull this off because I want to. And I'm not gonna lie, I loved the gold. I really did. But when that man showed up in that pink suit, I was like, hey, you won.
You won.
You won.
Oh man, such a night of excellence. And I love to see, I'm here for the black excellence. I'm like Issa. I'm like, who are you reading for? Everybody black. Everybody black. Because
I love
we
it.
have had we've been having a rough time, but we have had a
Week.
rough
Like
time
we
and a
needed this.
really rough week. So we need some joy in the fashion on the Oscars red carpet. We didn't even get to enjoy our two little seconds of excitement because the verdict of George Floyd. No, literally, when you look at the timestamps between the verdict of George Floyd's trial and the killing of Ma'Khia Bryant,
Yeah.
like it was like it was planned. It was like, how we didn't get 5 minutes, we didn't even get, like, come on, I'm tired, can we get a break, can the murderers stop for just a second, please, cease and desist for just a moment.
Halt. I just, in all honesty, though, I mean, I know that there are plenty of people that could not and did not want to watch the trial. I completely understand that. I hate surprises. And so I kind of like went back and forth with it, but ended up watching more of it than I probably care to admit. But I watched that, and when it got to be time to like show videos or when they were like interviewing the children, my heart couldn't handle that. So I didn't really watch some of those snippets. But on the day of the verdict, when they read the verdict, I cried, but I cried because like my whole body was in disbelief. Like every time they said one, because I mean they were like, it was quick. It was like boom, boom. But every time I was like, but like it was like guilty, but no, no, okay, guilty, but no, okay. And then when they were saying that the sentencing was going to be 8 weeks from when they handed out the verdict, my mind went to, okay, that's where he's going to get out. Like you could get 10 to 40
Right.
years and watch him get 10 years. That's where my head went, and that made me cry. That's why I cried, because I was in sheer disbelief as you're actually saying what I want and what I feel is just like what I want to hear. You're saying it, but I don't even believe you as it's coming out of your mouth. And then with the sentencing, my head is already expecting the worst. And then I hop off of CNN to
Right.
ABC, and in my home state in Columbus, which is actually where my mom lives, I'm like, and this is why. And this would be why, as I'm sitting here and I'm watching this verdict in my head, I have all this inner turmoil
Right.
and like shock. And like my ear, I'm like, do my ears deceive me? Like, this is why.
Right.
This is why.
Right. Like we live in a world, we live in a society where it is perfect. Like it shouldn't be normalized to be so shocked and appalled at basic human rights being defended. Like that is really that it's so sobering in the moment of like when because I mean I was at work and I wasn't watching and I remember I asked her, I was like what's the verdict? I just need to know the verdict. And even then everybody who was around me at work was getting the same information at the same time. And so my immediate reaction was just like, okay. Like, okay. Like, okay, dot, dot, dot. Because we are so conditioned at this point to just accept that there's absolutely no way that the system again is doing exactly what it was designed to do. So when it acts outside of that, it's like, wait, what? Wait, I'm sorry, no, that can't be real. And to your point, like exactly, literally 2 seconds later, we were like, confirmation. The if there was any glimmer of hope, it was literally just like ripped away in all within 2 minutes. And it's just
When you said it was almost like it was planned, that's why my eyes kind of went up because, you know, I, as a human being, feel like it was ridiculous that the case lasted as long as it did when we all watched it happen. We all watched it happen,
right.
right? And so that was just mind blowing to me. Not mind blowing in the sense that like I expected it to not happen that way, but just mind blowing that like this is still a thing where like we can watch it play out and we still have to have X weeks trial. Like this is not an open and shut case, like all of that. And so I understand that that's the way that I feel, and there's plenty of people like-minded like me that I surround myself with that feel that same way too. But there are plenty of people because how do you think that he paid for the majority of his bail? And how do you think that he paid for the majority of his lawyer fees? Those were donated funds. Those were donated funds from other police officers who believed that he had done nothing wrong, from other citizens who believed that he was acting out using his due use of force, that there was nothing wrong with that. It was all a retaliation, like proper use in retaliation to whatever they want to say that George Floyd was fighting back or resisting or whatever they're coming up with to make it justified, right? There's plenty of people out there that are like that. And so it doesn't like feel far-fetched in a sense to say that there are plenty of people who were ready. There are plenty of police officers who were just looking for a reason, because Blue Lives Matter, as the officer who is now on paid leave shouted in the videos after he was done shooting her 4 times in the chest. So I don't necessarily think that it's a coincidence.
right.
I also, because I just don't feel like coincidence is she has a knife, you misread the situation, and you shoot her once.
Right.
Not coincidence is your hand never leaves your gun from the moment you arrive on the scene and
Right.
you shoot her 4 times.
Right.
That doesn't seem like correct to me. And so
And
it's
the
just a
part
reminder
for
of the
me,
world that we live in. And
right. And it's the same feeling of like the same, like, yes, we voted Orange Man out of office, but it was a close race. So there was a whole half of people who thought that homie should have stayed exactly where he was. So it's like for every moment of, hope that we get, there's still plenty of people who are quite literally making it their business for that hope to be taken away. And when when people are trying to, for everyone out there who's trying to like read into this situation, to be quite honest, I am not interested in having that conversation with anyone. I'm not interested in going back and forth about whether or not he was just justified in pulling the trigger. I have absolutely no interest in that. And even if you crack your mouth to start to want to ask questions about what the situation was, I want you to look back on every mistake you've ever made. Anytime you've had a disagreement, anytime you've been upset, angry, any of those things, did you deserve to die for it? Anytime you've overreacted or reacted out of character in a situation, did you deserve to lose your life for it? There is no crime that is according to what, and this is not just like according to my philosophy. This is according to what this country was built on, right? You still should be you should still see a trial in which you would be tried and evidence would be presented, and then you would be deemed as guilty. You go to jail for however long said judge decides that you should be in jail, right? Regardless of what the crime is. So for anyone who is trying to look into details to see if she deserved, the answer is no. So when people are talking about this, when people are heard about it, when the Black community has suffered yet another trauma, and you are trying to explain why this police officer was justified, I just want you to think back to any moment you've done something that's wrong, that's technically wrong. Like, never has that ever been what is supposed to happen. Like, death is not the response to
Right.
to a police officer thinking in that moment that what the person is doing is wrong. That's not how that works. So I'm just,
I
for
know. I've
there,
had.
and there's so many people who are trying to justify
Oh yeah.
this, and
Oh yeah.
it's not surprising whatsoever, but it's just, I am no longer entertaining those conversations. Like, why are you, like, block, delete,
I mean,
unfriend?
it's just. I think though that's why, like for me, I get so. It's not negative. I'm not being negative when I have this reaction to things, So I've had so many people like reach out throughout the week, happy about the verdict. You can be happy about the verdict. Like, that's, if you want to be happy with the bare minimum, yeah, be happy. Like, this man is getting, hopefully he will get the sentencing that he deserves. He was found guilty of all three charges, which I do believe he deserves. It's not me being negative though to not think of it as some sort of giant leap in the correct direction. I don't I think that sometimes there's so many people that are on this new journey where they're paying more attention to politics, they're paying more attention to the world and what's happening, and they're having these difficult conversations with people because they are actually trying to grow, they're trying to understand, and I appreciate that. Also, though, don't take it personally, and you can if you want to, but don't take it personally if I don't seem overwhelmingly happy about some of these decisions, or if it is not some sort of huge breath or sigh of relief, like some sort of weight off my shoulders, that this one person out of how many is actually being convicted of the felonies that he is guilty of.
Right.
Realistically, I cannot do it. And it's not me being negative. It's not me trying to take away from that moment and the justice in that moment. However, the justice would be that George would be alive. The fact that this is even a case makes me have to be realistic about the way that I look at it, and doesn't afford me the luxury of being overjoyed, you know,
Right.
at the outcome. So I feel like sometimes people are taken aback when they come to me and they share their joy for that, and I don't want to take away from their joy from that. I'm glad that you're happy about it, and I'm happy as well. Part of me is happy as well that this is how it turned out. However, there's so many reasons why we shouldn't even be having this conversation to begin with, why this event
Right.
should not have even taken place.
Right.
And there's so many examples of why I am correct in being apprehensive that this is going to change anything, why I'm correct in being apprehensive that your sentencing is going to be bull, that your sentencing is probably not even going to be to the full extent. I have so many examples to prove to me that the system can still fuck us over. I'm just saying. Like, I'm being realistic. I'm not trying to be negative and stomp on your enthusiasm.
It is it is what is happening? Like, what is happening here? I can't. Black girl tings. It's it's almost treating the wrong thing, right? Like the him being held accountable for doing something wrong, but but let's not be distracted away from the system that is actually built for him to be able to do something wrong.
Mhm.
It's almost like it's almost like when you have, you know, like a parent and child, like you just gave this child a chocolate bar, right, at bedtime, and then the child is up past their bedtime. You come in their room and they're up past their bedtime, and you give the child a whooping because they were up late. They get
Yeah.
spanked because they were up and they were supposed to be in the bed sleep. Like, but you just gave them the child. Like,
Yeah.
it the root of the problem is this system that is set up, you know. And it's like, so really, we can't be surprised, we can't be mad. Like, I have no feelings towards these moments of accountability because the accountability is not my concern. The system is the problem.
Right.
We need to we I'd be excited and happy if I started to see changes in the system, um through which these people are being allowed to operate, you know. It's like, yeah, he was held accountable as he should be. As he should be. But the problem is that he shouldn't have felt in the moment that it all happened. The moment his knee was on George Floyd's neck, he shouldn't have felt so comfortable with doing that. He should have known, he should have felt like there's going to be accountability for this action. Therefore, I shouldn't do it. If unless I want to spend the rest of my life in jail, I need to act accordingly. I need to act like a human. I need to treat this person like a person and not like a monster. And so it's just like, they're allowed to do these things. It's been allowed. And so I'm just like, you know, I take these moments, these forward progressions with a grain of salt, because as we saw on that very day, that is that I think that like literal 30 minutes of life summed up the Black experience in the United States of America so well, where waking up Black is literally doing everything that you can to make sure that you have a good day and that you're having a positive outlook on life, even though you're walking through a world where people have all kinds of prejudices and hate towards you, and you have done literally nothing wrong just because of the color of your skin. Mustering up the strength and energy to still have joy coming from somewhere within your soul, mustering up that Black joy, you know, bringing it to the forefront, having a good day, and then literally it being crapped on,
Mm-hmm.
like diarrhea.
Like sucker punch to the
Right.
gut.
Right. Like, being Black in America is literally all within 30 minutes, being excited that the system did for once what it was supposed to do and hold somebody accountable, and then crying because yet another Black girl dead in the streets. And remember, I said girl. This is a child we're talking about, not a grown woman. So that's just important to note for the people who keep calling her a woman, because she's not.
Or the people on the news that keep saying that she's 17 when she's 16, she's 17 when she's like, stop trying to push her age closer and closer to the
Right.
legal adult age in
Right.
this country. She's 16.
Right.
She's a child.
She's a child, a whole
She's a
child.
child, a whole child. Um,
People need to stop the foolishness. But you know, we gonna keep trying to have good days. Okay. We gonna keep trying to bring you joy. We gonna keep trying to shed light on some of these important topics. But that's the thing, is that being Black in America means you have to find the strength to keep going. And so we're gonna keep doing that. Kiki Carroll and Miss Asha is gonna keep doing that. Okay. So follow us on Instagram and TikTok and check us out. We will be bringing you inspo. We're bringing you fashion. We're bringing you laughs. We're bringing you joy, happiness, energy, all of those great things, because that's all we can do. Okay. That's all we got. Okay. That's all we got. So what's your
well,
thought?
and this week, let's, on that note, we've been talking this whole podcast about supporting content creators, and we've got, like, you've got your outfits of the day, and all of just like this amazingly fun content that's coming out. Like, your reels crack me up, I'm not even gonna lie. And I'm doing my best to kind of share my style, which changes every single day, through my photos and my content on Instagram. But we also have another friend who actually has a really funny and light podcast where our friend Jessie Lynn and her friend Corey Damon do a movie review podcast, and they do series as well, sometimes TV series. They review events like the Oscars, like who they think is going to win, all of that. But it's just really intriguing, and I think that there's probably been a good handful of movies that I've never heard of, and I've watched solely because of their podcast. And I'm just like so intrigued by it. And I'm like, I gotta stop because I'm gonna listen and hear too much about this movie, and now I gotta go watch it and come back. And I just think, with everything that's going on in the world right now, and everybody's always craving, you hear all these people in their comment sections talking about how they want to escape when they watch something or when they listen to something. They want to escape from that. They want to have a mental break. This is a really good mental break for you to tune into. So I would check them out. Their podcast is called Showstopper Podcast, and they have an Instagram, Showstopper Instagram. But if you are a movie buff, or you just like watching TV, like series, you like to get lost in it, they've done one on Lost. They have an interesting kind of perception of and knowledge of filmmaking and just acting and all of that. So it's a really good listen.
Right.
Really good listen.
Follow them on Instagram. There, you can click the link in their bio on Instagram. It'll take you to subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Really, really fun stuff. So check them out. That's also DJ in the DR.
If you ever heard us reference DJ, which I know we have, at least once or twice. If you've ever listened to us reference DJ, that's who we're talking about. She's a fun time, guys. She is quick with it. She's a fun time, and it's nice to hear her take on a lot of these. Like, she just has an interesting lens that she looks through, and her commentary on some of these movies is, once she says it, I'm like, oh yeah, like that's exactly what's happening right now. I never would have put two and two together like that. So do yourself a favor, check them out.
Check them out. Check them out. Check them out. I don't know.
It's been a long night, but we're gonna keep churning out content like Miss Asha Brown has told y'all. Miss Lady Asha Brown has told y'all.
It's just so many prefixes. Miss Lady,
so many titles. There's
Miss Lady Asha, Miss Lady, Mrs.
Ladies. There's so many titles, but it all equals fabulous, and we've got content on the ready, on deck for you. So check it out. All of the links are readily available on the screen. And we've got so much going on. We can't pin it down to there's so much going on in the next week. There's just so much going on in life, period. We're trying to stay afloat, and we will share it with you the next time we see you.
Okay. I think we're both, yeah.
Bye.